What's happening, everybody? It is time for another episode of Selling Past Your Expiration Date, Being Thrifty Over 50. I'm Jay.
I'm Peg.
And we are JPEG. Hang on, let me set my headphones in here real quick. And I'm back. All right, cool. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. And today we're going to be chatting about how to take a partnership, whether it be husband and wife, wife and wife, life partners, friends, whatever it is, and make it work so not one person's doing all the work or it's lopsided. So how did mom and dad come up with their roles for what they do? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get to that, excuse me, Mom found two cute pictures of her little boy that we should have shared last week, so I want to share them today. And so let's share them real quick. Let's see here. Here I am showing off my giant whelk that I was proud to have found. I'm missing a tooth there. Looking good. I like
the car in the background. I'm not quite sure what kind that is.
And for those of you who know me in my later years, look how much hair I used to have. That's crazy.
I know. It was so thick when he was little.
How often did I have to get my hair cut, Ma?
Oh, we probably did it every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dad cut your hair.
And then here I am styling with my great-grandma Apple, showing off my shells. Look at that. My top, my shorts, and my socks all match. I was on point back then. Thanks, Mom.
Your great-grandma lived to be 96, so that's a good thing.
Yes, 96. She outlived all 5 of her husbands. Yep, I said count them 5.
You know what she said? She said, I just loved them to death.
There you go. There you go. All right, so today everyone heard Dad last week, and everyone wanted to meet Dad. So I thought, well, we never really plan our shows too far ahead because it's always about something that just kind of happens or someone mentions. And that's where we get our topics for our show. So today is going to be, let's meet my daddy. Yay! Come on in, Dad.
Okay, come on in, Dad.
Wheel in there.
Well, who's your daddy now?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, everybody.
This is my dad, Regan Tuttle Smith. And sadly, the Tuttle stopped with him. Mom did not like that name. She saddled me with Todd, and let me tell you about Jason Todd Smiths around the world. There's one on the do not fly list. That's not me. There's one that owes $30,000 in back student loans. That's not me. There's one that beat up his wife. That's certainly not me. But guess what? Shows up on my stuff all the time. Those. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. And at the time we picked it, we didn't know it was going to be one of the most popular names. One of those kind of things that happens.
And I didn't realize how bad it was going to be until it was about 10, 12 years ago. Stacy and I had flown someplace, and we were flying back. We were trying to check in online, and she could, and I couldn't. And it kept saying, you have to come to the counter. I go, wow, that's weird. I fly all the time. So I go up to the counter, and they're like, yeah, there's a Jason Smith on the do not fly list, and you have to prove that you're not him. I'm like, oh, goody. Thanks. All right, this is great. Oh, and three times I've been in for medical procedures where they have the wrong Jason Smith chart on my stuff. So
that's not good. Not good.
No. So this is my daddy, my mom and dad. Well, I'll let them give you their quick bio. So start us from falling in love to now, and make it about 17 seconds long.
Right, go ahead, Dad. Real quick. I met your father when I was 11. He was 12. We dated since that time. So we were together about, 10 years prior to getting married. We've been married for 52 years, so we've been together for 62 years. Oh, my God.
The honeymoon's wearing thin.
Just thin?
Regan got drafted into the Army after we were married for 2.5 years. That was the big Vietnam push. And so we had a late start in starting our family, or Jason could be well over 50 by now.
Oh, yeah. Every time Jason complains about how old he's getting, I said, yeah, if your mom and I knew what we were doing, you'd be 10 years older.
So you had me when you were how old?
I was 27.
27. Okay. So, because I'm going to tell you. Go ahead.
Yeah, at that time, that was old to have children.
Yeah.
Not today's standards, but back then it was.
So I'm gonna tell you a story, and I told a story before, but now that Dad's on, it'll have a little more gravity to it. My parents were older for that generation of having kids, so 27. So our town was so small, podunk town that my biology teacher was Mom and Dad's biology teacher. And so I want to point out that they weren't teen parents. They were older parents when they had us, late 20s. And so that tells you how long people stayed in my town. And the first time I got in trouble in sophomore biology, the teacher's name was Orrin Bradley, Orrin. And my neighbor, who was a troublemaker, had flunked, and he was a junior, and I was a sophomore, and we were sitting next to each other. And we sit in the back of the class with our heads down, and we didn't move our lips, and we'd go, Orrin! And then he would look around, and he finally pointed at me and said, "You, what's your name?" I'm like, "Jason Smith," and he looks at me for a few seconds, he goes, "Oh, you're Regan's boy. Now I understand." So that's the pedigree I had to live up to. So, yeah.
Jason called me on that incident from school saying, "Dad, I might need a little help here." He said, "Well, tell me what happened." And he did. And I said, "Well, I've told all you kids, you ever need me to help it, just drop my name." I said, "But in this particular situation, I don't think it'll do you any good." And I said, "Tough it out, buddy."
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely a good combination of my mom and dad, and I will show you a picture in a minute. Actually, heck, I'll show it now. Mom and Dad went out. Did you buy this thing today, Mom? The table?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay. So Mom and Dad sourced this skimboard yesterday. Where'd you find it? How much did you pay?
Oh, it was $1. A whole buck. And by the way, you can resell these and make very good money on skimboards. So always check those out. And they're usually $1 or $2. People just want to get rid of them normally at their garage sales. And she had $2 on it. I offered her $1, and she took it. And it was filthy dirty. All I did was wash and scrub it up really good. And look how nice
it had surfer's wax on it.
Yeah. So scrubbed it off real good.
And here's the other shot. So Dad turned it into a table between these two Adirondack chairs that look really nice. And guess what? My daddy built those from scratch. And so that's where I didn't get my dad gene, because I am not handy to save my life.
Not too much.
When Dad would do projects, my job always was sweeping up.
Mine too, Jay. Mine too.
So, yep. So I am definitely a good product of both my parents. I get good attributes from both of them. I guess my best attribute for my dad is getting in trouble, but then getting out of it. So, So my folks are 72, 3. Where are we at now?
Yeah. Pushing 4.
Dad's
73, and they're selling on eBay together. And they started doing it a few years ago when they retired from both their careers. And I kept pushing them. I said, you got to should sell on eBay, make some money, because you guys taught me how to garage sale and thrift and flea market, and you have a great eye. So why not make some money in your retirement years? And hey, how's it been going?
Really, really great. Better than expected, as far as I'm concerned, don't you think? I mean, we'd never thought this.
I'm amazed every day.
Yeah, we are. We're in the beginning when we first started, and we started listing things auction style in the beginning, and we would check our few items every day to see how many watchers there were, if we had any views, and we were just so excited. And every time we would get a bid, oh my God, we were ecstatic. We just thought that was the best thing going. But it's been a learning experience plus a profitable experience. So you can't hate that combination.
Yeah, and to add money to your bottom line when you're retired, and
right.
and this part of it is definitely geared towards those be it over 50. But anybody can take something from this. But you guys have you set aside for retirement, but now you have this like fun money. I always tell people, right. My parents are like teenagers with deep pockets. They're running here, they're running there, they're traveling here, they're traveling there.
I've got 5 vacations coming up, coming out to Vegas to see you, of course, and the eBay conference. And so, yeah, all our extra money now is going towards trips, plus paying off our real estate taxes every year. That was the main goal, just to pay our real estate taxes. But it's blossomed way more than expected. But do you want to kind of give? Do you want us to give them a rundown of what Dad and I do and how we do it and how?
Right. So let me show the pictures, and you can kind of narrate then how you guys divvy up the workload of the day, because in selling online there is a workload. You have to source the product. You gotta clean it up. You gotta fix it up. You gotta picture it. You gotta list it. So let's show the slideshow that we did at the Chicago Ecom event last year.
Okay.
That's not what I want to see. I don't want to see a white screen. What the hey? Hang on a minute.
It was there. I saw it.
I know. What? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, I'm stuck in the vortex. Hang on a minute. All right, we'll do it this way. So I'll do it this way. I just want to do it as a presentation.
Okay. Well, as you can see, this is our office, and Dad is the shipping department.
Shipping.
I'm the listing department, and usually the final fees and all of that stuff at the end, when I'm filling in my ledger sheet, I'll take care of all of that. But Dad does the packaging, and oh gosh, look at my hair. and so I will finish off, with the final fees, and I print off the label, and Dad does all the packaging, pretty much all the packaging, and he's really good at it. When you tell him about your other job, you packaged up a lot of stuff with your other job.
So yeah, Dad, how'd you get so good at packing and shipping?
I'm just good at everything.
Well, true. I will give you that, but that's not much of a lesson for the viewers.
The last place I did work, like a real job. It was a sales office, and there were 4 people that, we sold items every day, and one of my functions was shipping. So I did shipping every day.
Yeah, so it was just natural for Dad to take over.
So.
Yep. Yeah, that's a pair of skis.
Pair of skis.
Yeah. I forgot we had these, Jason. Yeah, these are good to show.
Pair of skis. Bought those for
$5.
$5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember those.
And then we talked about last week. What are you using here, Dad, to ship these in?
Well, that was it's a 5-foot roll of
vinyl wallpaper.
Vinyl wallpaper that a guy on a job, he had extra, and it was a great big roll. He gave it to me. He says, "You got a use for this?" I said, "I think I do." And we still have it, and we still use it.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice and
sturdy.
Tough. Yeah.
It's tough stuff.
Very sturdy.
And something like a water ski, all you really have to do is put tape around it and slap a label on it, because it's an outside sports equipment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It won't get hurt, Yeah,
because people asked that last week, Dad, and I try to explain to them. I guess people who have never water skied or even seen it. That's a piece of equipment that's meant to take a lot of force and pressure.
Yeah, you couldn't hurt them. So, but I feel better if it's totally all covered up,
And then how did you decide that you'd be the photo taker, Dad?
Yeah, I started out taking photos, but then you just kind of took over, didn't you? I don't remember how that came about.
Oh, it was a promotion I got from shipping.
and did it come with a raise?
Well, it did, because we started selling more.
Right. For those of you who don't have a partner or someone else in your office to help you do the workload, I mean, it is a plus to have 2 doing this. There's no doubt about it. Because doing everything yourself, it's slow going.
Well, I do all the pictures and all the shipping.
Yeah.
So I do no listings, period.
No.
I've never done that. But I can sell the item on the computer, and print the shipping label and the invoice.
Yep,
I can do all that. But so it lightens the load on both, and you don't have to worry about the other end of it.
No. And I have to say, I don't know if you want to get into this yet, Jay. Dad is a heck of a Frankenbox maker.
Well, we got all strange stuff.
Oh, yeah, we do. Big and strange and
heavy. All right, so let me explain Frankenbox, because some people might not have heard that term. I mean, I'm sure most had that follow us. But Frankenbox is essentially when you take 1 or 2 or more boxes and stick them together because the item you have does not fit in any box you have. So sometimes it's too tall or too wide or whatever, and so you got to Frankenbox them together. Like Frankenstein was made out of bits and pieces of different people, same thing. And so Dad has become like the master Frankenbox maker.
Well, here we call it oregano box.
Inside family joke. Sorry, everybody. Should I quick tell the story?
Oh, that's my name.
Oh, my Italian grandmother, when she met Regan for the first time, she couldn't quite grasp the name Regan, so she called him oregano. And that just stuck with all of my relatives.
In Sicilian, she said to Peggy's dad, "Hey, Otto, come si chiama oregano?" She's saying, "Is his name oregano?"
And that just stuck. The family said, "That's it. He's oregano from now on." So, getting back to how I start our week for thrifting, I will hit my local newspapers of all the garage sales, flea markets, estate sales that are going. I'm also on yardsales.net, I think it's called, and I get those listings almost daily. So I'll check what's throughout my area. Plus, they have good descriptions of what they're selling. So I'm the one that does all the mapping out of what routes to take and how to do it, and we're so we aren't driving from one end to the other and back and forth and back and forth. So I kind of lay out the route. And we usually start out on Thursdays because Thursday is garage sale day here in Ohio, and we start doing our thing, and we're pretty good at haggling. Regan taught me way back when, because I was scared to death to haggle. And I really was, and he started me way back when. He says, "Hon, all they can do is say no." So that's all I needed, and little by little I built up my courage, and I am a champ.
Now she embarrasses me.
Golly. So that's kind of the hunt part of it, or sourcing, is really good. Now I have a question for Jason or for anybody that's watching today. When you are at a garage sale, do you use your iPhone right in front of the owners of the garage sale to look up items?
Oh, yeah.
I always feel embarrassed.
Why?
No, it's a thing of today.
Yeah, I guess so. I got to get over that.
Plus, if someone gives me the stink eye like I'm doing that, I just tap the screen a little bit more like I'm just texting. Because unless they're staring at your screen, and you guys are both on the taller side for people, you're not short and squatty like my wife. So, it's easy when you're short to look, but if you're taller, I can take pictures of people when I'm standing next to them. They don't even know it. Because it looks like I'm tapping on my phone, and I'm just taking their picture.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday I had a woman, she saw me, searching on the iPhone, and I got done. She says, "Tell me, do I have those records priced right?" And I said, "You do. You actually do."
She did.
She says, I was a little worried about I had them priced wrong. I said, "No, you're right where you should be." And that's a thing of today. I mean, everybody does that. It's a thing of today, and I don't think there's anything wrong with just look right in front of it. Look, you gotta look it up and move on.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
Since you're not watching the chat, I'll give you the reply. So there's some yeses. I feel bad. I'm with you, Peg. If I do, I make it look like I'm doing something else. Yes,
too.
I need to know if I should buy it. Business is business. I feel embarrassed too, but my husband has no problem scanning books at yard sales. I'm not obvious. I do it discreetly. And, if you're scanning, which I know I still can't get my mom to do all that much because she calls me on things she could be scanning very easily. But when you scan, if you use the Amazon app, you don't have to be tapping the screen because the magic blue dots are doing it. And so you're just holding your phone. You're not even touching the screen. So once you bring up the magic blue dots,
right.
Let me bring my phone up, my picture here. Whoop. See the dots? Yeah, so I'm just holding the phone, and it reads the thing below me, and it tells me what it is. So I don't have to.
Yeah, well, no, this happens though. A lot of times when we do that with Amazon, nothing will come up. And maybe the items are just too old or out of date.
Yeah, that could be sometimes, but and plus, I think here's an advantage to being older. You guys could get away with it a little better. Just play dumb, like what? I don't know what is this. I don't know how to do this.
That's true. That's true.
I don't find it to be a problem.
Yeah, I know. No, it doesn't bother Dad. I just still have that feeling, oh, I shouldn't be doing this in front of them. But I'll get over that. I know I will. Also, don't forget when you are also at garage sales, flea markets, whatever, and you see a bunch of items that you like from this particular location, don't forget to bundle and come up with prices. We did a nice bundle yesterday, and saved a few dollars. They weren't going to budge on some of their other prices, but as soon as we bundled, we got what, about another $6 off of everything. So it does pay off to bundle your items when you are doing that.
All right, so here's a question I have, and I have no idea for the answer. Do you guys tag team them, or does just one of you haggle?
No,
one at a time usually. Yeah, one at a time. Yeah.
To use the term tag team, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're both about the same about our haggling and making offers. We're both about the same. We never seem to disagree on that.
Yeah.
There's some other arguments that go on. But
Well, since you brought that up, because that's going to happen in any relationship, especially one that's been together for forever, 60 plus years, and you guys are now, in your retirement, you're also working together all day.
24/7. Woo!
Yeah. So how does that go? Because I know people are going to want to know about it, and maybe those who are planning for retirement are like, hey, I'm going to work with my spouse. Okay, well, if you haven't worked with your spouse before, is it going to work out?
It's difficult at times, yes. Because we each have, you're not answering me.
I think silence was an answer there.
yes, dear.
The two smartest words a man could say. Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
I mean, I probably stick in my nose when I shouldn't, because he's over there packaging, and I think he should do it one way. And of course, he's been doing all the shipping. And every now and then, I get a little more concerned on some things on how to put them together. So we'll disagree on that a little bit. As far as the thrifting part, we don't disagree at all. Oh, I know. Here's a good thing. When we receive an offer, on an item, and the debate is, do we accept the offer or counter offer?
This is probably our biggest disagreement.
Yeah.
When we get the offer and it's sensible, I always sell.
Yeah, Dad's ready to sell. I always
Sell.
I like to hold out a little
Well,
bit.
I can show you some things. I've moved around here because we were holding out for another $5.
All right. Well, two parts to that, and I fully agree with you, because there are things I see here all the time that I went, shit, I had a decent offer. I was expecting more, and I wish I had it back. Now, it just happened yesterday, and I ended up selling it for $2 more than the offer I thought I blew. So I'm like, yay.
Yeah, but $2.
Yeah. But part of this is my fault because, so backing up a little bit, my folks grew up in this little country town where no one left. Mom used to ride her horse up to town and put the horse on the hitching post. And yes, we did not grow up in the 1800s, that's for sure.
Nope.
And, everyone knew both our families because our families were in town forever. And so I got my mom onto computers, onto iPhones. My dad had one of them slide-up texty phones, only to use it as a phone, and that finally broke after having it for maybe 27 years. And finally got him an iPhone so he could do his own research. Well, I put the eBay app on his phone so he gets the alerts at the same time as Mom. So when I did it, his pockets vibrated. He's like, ooh, look, we got an offer. So I might have created that little bit of a problem there. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. But it is difficult, and I'm sure everybody goes through this. It's a fine line whether to accept or counter. I mean, you just have to take that.
It's hard to feel out the buyer. There's after you've been in this a while, you get to notice there are some buyers, they actually put all the money they could together, and that was their offer.
Yeah.
And when you go back with a counter offer and you never hear from them again, I go, I told you that was one of those people. That was all the money they had. That was it.
Yeah.
And
all right. Based on what you just said, I'm going to tell you a story, a strip club story that's going to relate to this.
This will be interesting.
The strip club.
Yes, it will. It's exactly right, because sometimes you don't know what people have in their pocket. So I was with a buddy at a strip club here in Vegas that was full nude, and typically when it's full nude, that means there's no booze, and you have to buy an $8 club soda or an $8 orange juice or an $8 Diet Pepsi. So being no booze, you can be 18. So we were getting ready to leave, and 4 18-year-olds walked in. I went, oh, this ought to be interesting. Let's hang back for a second. Well, they plopped down right at the stage. They're like, oh, naked girls, wee! And so when the waitress came over and said, "What can I get you guys?" They're like, 4 Pepsis, and kind of waved her off. Well, when she came back, I said, "This is what is going to get fun."
Yeah.
She said, "All right, boys, those 4 Pepsis will be $32." And when they pulled all their money, they only had $32. So they drank an $8 Pepsi. They could tip no girls, and they left. So you never know.
They knew where they were at. They'd already counted their money.
All they had. So you never know what your customer has.
Right, right.
I tied it in. I tied a strip club story in.
I'm trying to think the percentage-wise of countering and not countering, just taking the offer. I think it could only be 50-50.
Oh,
really.
It is. You know, I gambled on one the other day where I'm like, I can get $5 more out of this and I'll cover the shipping, and I did. And then that other one went the other way where they declined it, but then 4 days later a guy came back with $2 more. So, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it works. Sometimes it works.
But I'm going to be on Dad's side now, because you and I had this talk earlier today. I look at your listings all the time, and I see some that have been up for way too long. And I said, "Ma, when's the last time you downpriced some things or had a sale?" And what was the answer?
I haven't. I'm so far behind on that.
Probably never.
No.
She's done a few sales, but this is where you guys have decided, you know, you're the computer part of it, so you need to sit down, and that's an easy thing to do, to reprice, to do a sale. That all that takes is your laptop and sitting on the couch watching Dancing with the Stars, because it's not tough work. You just got to go in there and go, "Oh shit, we've had this for 10 years. Time to downprice it." Because when you downprice it, things move. I instead of sale times, I downprice things, and people see them again and they move.
What do you mean down price as opposed to
So if you have an item just listed at $100, go in there, change the price to $30, and people give us a
just change the price.
Gotcha.
People give us alert.
I totally agree with that, because you have to reintroduce the product, because the people, Peg keeps saying, "Well, people can make us an offer." No, they've moved on. They forgot about it. It's long gone.
Yeah.
You have to refresh that product in front of everybody's eyes, and I'm a big one for that. Get it, redo it.
You know, the prime example is they have a tiki mug that in the past has sold for $100. Mom and Dad sold one for $100. I sold one for $100, but the market has dropped, and I saw one sell the other day for like $30, and Mom's had hers at $100 forever, and that's the kind of thing I'm like, you need to change that pricing, because it's just going to sit now. That the bottom is tanked on that specific mug, and you need
even though anybody could come to us and make us an offer for $30, they won't do it.
You're right. Exactly right.
For sure. Can we back up a little bit on shipping? And I think we did mention.
Ahead.
Yeah, I think we did mention this maybe last week's show. In Dad's department, since we are shipping such large, heavy, and oddball size things, one thing we want to remind everyone is to use
FedEx SmartPost.
Yeah.
This is a very good vehicle for especially weight, things that get heavy.
Yeah.
And when I say heavy, I'm talking anything over 2 pounds. Look into FedEx SmartPost. It'll be half the money, believe me. And we use it quite often because we have big, strange, and heavy stuff. And you can, I don't know if people realize this, FedEx SmartPost, it's a deal between the post office and FedEx, and they share in the shipping. You can take it right to your local post office. You don't have to find a FedEx place. You don't have to have, and you can't get pickup from FedEx for a SmartPost package. You can't. No. They won't come to your house. So you take it to your local, just like you take any other package.
Post office.
To the post office, and look into it and use, and it's no different, and it'll be right on your computer. Yeah. The listing will be right there.
It's a 2 to 8 day shipping, but
it always
2 to 3 days it's there. So it's in most cases, yeah.
Yeah, they bill it as 2 to 8 days, but it just goes along with all the rest of the mail, and I've never seen one take over 4 days.
No.
So don't worry about the time element, and we've never had anybody say anything to us.
No, not
about
at all.
And we've even gone oversize on boxes over their recommended sizes. FedEx SmartPost we went, well, we can't ship it. we're going to box it and take it and see what happens. And everyone's gone, and nobody's ever said anything. To me, FedEx SmartPost is a very, very good vehicle to use and save you money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, and it is an eBay shipping option.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and that's what I meant by it'll be listed right on your.
Right. Somebody was asking in the chat, and you know, my parents have always looked and acted younger than their years, their entire life. They've always been. I'm paying you a compliment. Let me talk.
I know.
But I think I fully believe doing this together, doing something that's very modern, like selling online, is helping keeping them young. You know, I see other parents who are younger than my parents and look like 20 years older. And you know, it's definitely about how you feel and act and react to life. But you know, they do a lot of traveling and hanging out with friends, and then Dad's got his guy friends, and Mom's got her girls' card night, and I think all that keeps them young. And coming up in 2.5 weeks, my mom and I are going to 3 concerts in 3 nights. It was supposed to be 2, but eBay decided to throw a concert. Oh, by the way, Ma, eBay is not having the concert at the event. We're actually going to a cool concert venue called the Brooklyn Bowl, where you can bowl and watch a concert.
Oh my God!
Oh, now if I'd have known this.
Well,
bowling for dollars?
You still want to join in?
Just found that out today. So we're walking down to a really cool concert venue. So a 73, how many 73-year-olds know, A, go to concerts, B, you're going to go to 3 and 3 nights?
Yeah, that sounds like a fun. Most of the time when I go out to visit Jason, I have him on such a run of take me here, take me there. He can't wait till I leave because I exhaust him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, getting back, great question. Oh, this is great.
Okay.
So Peg handles the listings and Regan handles the shipping. Who decides which shipping method to go with once the sale is made?
Well, we decide that before we even list it, because in your listing you got to say this will ship FedEx SmartPost, or this will ship Priority, or it'll ship however it ships.
So is that mainly you figuring it out, Dad, then telling Mom?
No,
we do.
Really, the two of us do it.
It's together.
But here's the deciding factor to me on FedEx SmartPost. Really take a look. Anything over 2 pounds in the box in your container, take a look at SmartPost.
2 pounds?
2 pounds.
Oh yeah, it was 2 pounds. You're right. Yeah.
Anything over 2 pounds.
It was.
FedEx SmartPost. And we just automatically go to it now. Well, what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, because we're finding that it's shipping just as fast as anything else.
And we take it to the same place. It ships just as fast. And I don't care what you do, any of it's less money.
Right.
Yeah, so whether you're charging the customer for shipping so you can charge them less, or you're doing free shipping so you pay less, you know, y'all kind of work out.
And normally, we do very, very few free shippings. So when we do calculate shipping, we take a look at it, and especially if it's a heavy bag and we're going SmartPost, we price it more than what a FedEx SmartPost would cost. But nobody ever argues about because we charge less than if you'd have done it Priority. You see what I mean? And yesterday,
right.
Well, we shipped a thing today, and we made $17 on the shipping.
Don't tell them what it is, because we're going to talk about that later.
But it was still cheap to our customer, because the FedEx SmartPost was $22, and regular was $40.
Yeah. So it definitely saved.
But we calculate shipping prior to doing the listing.
Together, pretty much together. Sometimes I'll do it on my own because I'm familiar with all my items and I know what they'll ship for. But when it gets into the big bulky things, then we actually weigh it out and make sure that we're doing the right amount. Because not to say we haven't made our mistakes, because we've been burned a few times on shipping.
Well, anytime California orders it, it costs you a fortune.
Yeah, from our end of town.
The joys of living in Vegas. There's another one right there. California is very close.
And California is as everybody knows, is a big buyer. They
Huge.
seem to have money there, so they're buying stuff. And always when we have this big item and the Peg says, we got an offer, I go, where's it going? California. We go, we got to take a look.
Well, that's a smart tip.
I'm going to back up to the arguing thing. I remembered something.
Uh-oh.
When Dad's taking pictures, and I try to put together what I want him to take pictures of, because I like to keep them in categories. And so if we're going to do Hawaiian shirts, it's going to be Hawaiian shirts all at one shot. And sometimes he's pretty good at that. But other times when he does things on his own, he'll pick this, he'll pick that. So when I go to list, I'm all over the place with my listings, and it takes me twice as long. And
so
then
Dad's going rogue, huh?
Dad's going rogue.
Well, she's not around, and I go up there and I go, oh, I'd like to sell that. Now there's one I've been putting. Let's take a picture of that. Let's get. And nobody's there behind me pushing
the whip. So that's one of our other little arguments.
All right. Now, if you like my folks and you want to see a little bit more of them, I used to have a TV show called Thrift Hunters, and they were in episode 4, season 2, called Goodwill Hunting. If you have Spike TV, you can go to the spike.com website /shows/Thrift Hunters. Just Google it. And you can just watch it right on there. So check out my folks live in the field. We were at a flea market, and they were vending.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a really good time. I enjoyed that. So did Dad. They were good.
Yeah.
They were good.
All right, now, we usually do a segment before we get to the hauls. We usually do a segment called Mama's Boy. But, whoops. All right. But today, we're going to call it Daddy's Boy.
All right.
Is that showing?
No, honey, it's not. It's black.
All right, that's right. Something just happened. Hang on a minute.
Oh, okay, it did pop in there real quick.
Yep, hang on a minute. I realized something went haywire there.
Okay, the graphics look good.
There we go. Yeah, the graphic looked good. I took Nadine's nice graphic and slapped Daddy's over it. So that's the best I can do. There's my skills.
Well, that's all right. It still looks good.
All right, so so if you watched Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay this week, when Nadine was talking about her wilting cake pan duds, I was lamenting about how I used to love frosting on cakes, and they don't make for whatever reason, the sugar or milk or whatever, for whatever reason, frosting does not taste the same as it did in the 70s. And I said, hey, Mom, I need a picture of me and Dad. This is what she came back with, eating a cake with that frosting on it. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Look at our hair. Dad, that shirt is off the chain, let me tell you, Dad.
Yeah.
I love that shirt.
I forgot all about that shirt.
I'm sorry you can't see Jason's pants because they're a bright plaid. I did a lot of plaids back in the day.
And that's my baby there.
And then before we get to the haul, I did want to show a couple of the other pictures. So if you look at my little avatar down there, this is my dad dancing at my wedding doing the mashed potato.
Oh, hey.
That was one of my all-time favorite pictures of my dad, and that's what I made my avatar today, excuse me. And then my mom is using this one, and wait till you load of my mom's hair, because, oh my God.
We thought we were so hot back in the day, and that's not all my hair. For those of you watching, we had these hair pieces that was all the rage, and you would take your hair piece in, and they bouffant it all up with these curls, and you just stick it on your head, and away you went.
But that is my hair.
Yes.
Is that a top or a dress, Ma?
It's a dress. That's when the mini dresses came out.
That is fabulous too. I wish you had that.
Yeah, I wish I still did too. That was a gorgeous dress, and it just very, 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 very short. When I said mini, it was mini, micro mini.
All right, so I think that's all the things I wanted to share. Yep. Okay, so let's do the peg reg haul. Let's do the peg reg haul. What'd you guys find this week?
Okay, well, Dad, I'm going to start out with what Dad actually found. Here, open that up. You showed them. You found that.
Well, it's
a vintage. Oh, here, I'm going to put us up big on the screen, honey, so we can see better. Okay, all right. This is a vintage checkerboard, and it is dated 1949. You can see we paid a whole $1 for that vintage item.
And it wasn't much inflation since it was originally 29 cents.
I know.
And on the back of this checkerboard, you got all kinds of rules.
You got to put them over there in front of the camera. There you go.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Look at this. I never knew there's not rules in checkers.
I know. So for a $1.
And Dad, I know Dad loves doing the research. Have you done research on what that's going to bring you?
No, this one I haven't.
This one he hasn't yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, not yet, but you know.
But I thought the box looked so cool, you know.
Let me ask you this: did you count the pieces? Are they all there?
Yes,
we
I
did.
opened it up.
All right, good man, good man.
And look, the original price was 29 cents.
Yep.
There.
All right, so then remember a couple of, when Jason was here, what April, Jason, when you were here?
Yep.
I had found, you know, boxes of records. Well, when we were at
which one?
the Hartville Flea Market, no, we've already shown those.
Yeah.
When I was at the Hartville Flea Market a week ago, that was over the holiday weekend, we ran across this booth that had a bunch of 45 record holders.
Oh, 100 of them.
Yeah. And
I never like to know ahead of time, but I wish I would have known because I have the matching LP holder of that downstairs.
Oh,
100 of them.
well, if you want it, I will bring it to you.
No. That's great. And that's a good one. That's an easy. Holy cow, that's awesome.
How's that?
This one's vinyl.
Yeah, this is vinyl.
This is vinyl.
This should bring me some good money.
That's
And
got
I will
70s written all over it right there.
We wanted to bundle 3 together just so we could get the price down. So this one's just more of a geometric look. Oh,
I mean, it's almost atomic. I would actually put the word in there. Ah, shit, what's written on the back of it?
Yeah, you're right. It is pretty close to atomic. So,
She wanted $5 a piece, and she had 100 of them.
Oh yeah, she had a bunch.
And so I picked out 3 and then offered her $10, and she took it. So.
Yeah, so $3.33 a piece, and I'm thinking this one especially could bring me around $30, maybe more. I'm gonna do some more research on that one.
Yeah, the first one I see often. That one I've never seen.
But the
vinyl.
The vinyl with the patchwork quilt.
Yeah,
I would call that a patchwork quilt.
We got this we got a shopping cart when we were at this flea market. And we're in another booth after we bought these, and the girl running the booth saw the vinyl one, and she said, "Can I touch that?"
And you know what I call that? I call that cart envy. I often have it with the stuff in my cart. Like, where'd you get that?
All right. I also showed you on one of our shows Johnson's metal Band-Aid cans. And I hit the mother load. I have a bag full, and these are in mint condition, and I mean mint. And she wanted $0.25 a piece for them. I don't know how many we've got in here. I didn't even count.
You haggled her down. You're about to tell us you haggled her down from $0.25?
Well, yes, because there were so many. Because I said, look, if I take them all, will you take $2? And she said yes. And so they just keep coming, and they are, like I said, they're in mint condition, you guys. There's no rust on these suckers. Now I have another batch that I bought for $1, about the same amount, and but they're very rusty. So I will bundle those together as a lot probably, and just sell them as is. But these, just to give you an idea, I sold one of these 2 or 3 weeks ago, $9.99 just for one. So just to give you an idea, these do sell. Yeah, these sell very, very well. This I don't know. I probably am not parting with this. Jason, you got this one?
Oh no, I've never even seen that one.
I never have either, so I don't.
It's full.
It's full of Jim Beam.
Nice.
It's a Jim. I know, honey. I've never come across this one. He had $10 on it. I tried to get him down to 5 or 6 or 7, but we ended up at 8. So this one was probably.
That is Waikiki Beach, for those of you who don't know. That's the Pink Palace right there. And I would not drink that.
No. I'm sure it's probably not any good. But, just to let you know, staying on the Hawaii theme, I hadn't shown this to Jace yet, because he always likes to be surprised of my hauls.
Oh, nice.
They put them on. It used to have a plaque here, Jace. The plaque is gone.
It was some kind of
bowling thing, they said. So there's our tiki guy.
So why don't you put Best Son on it and send it out here?
Well, Buzz isn't into this yet.
Buzz is their younger son, just in case
Buzz,
you want to.
Buzz is my little brother.
He had 35 on it. Did we get it for 25? Yeah, 25. We got it for 25.
And that's and we're actually gonna in a bit. We're gonna talk about next week's episode because we already figured it out. But that's a good vintage one, and they still make them around that size today. But the quality is so poor that those aren't worth almost anything. That one though is worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, that's a good oldie, isn't it, honey?
Yep,
Yeah.
very nice.
He knew it too, and
Yeah, we had a hard time
the
on him.
two of us worked on
Yeah, yeah.
See, you did tag team him. I told you.
this guy
We
because
did.
he was
We
a little
did.
bit out of line. So both
A
of
little
us.
bit. Yeah, he was.
Did you do good cop, bad cop, or old lady, old man? What'd you do?
No, we just kept pointing out that he really didn't know what he was talking about.
Don't forget, I do a lot of community garage sales, and basically when you do community garage sales, it's usually younger families, a lot of children's clothing and games and toys and all of that kind of stuff. But a lot of times you will find games and toys that have never been opened, as you know, these kids get so much from their parents and grandparents, etc. I have been guilty of that. But we kind of fell onto this. I know I'm getting a glare there. Can you see that one? Yeah. And that was marked $5. Yeah, the price tags are right there. You can still see it.
I got it.
Yeah, well, just a minute. Hold on. And then this was at the same house. Oh, look at this baby. Can you see that? Oh, I got the wrong side.
Man.
And that has never been opened either. And she had 10 on that, Tony? 20, yeah, 10. She had 15 on both. What did we get it for?
I bought them both for 10.
Yeah, we bought them both for $10. So
Now,
brand new.
did you scan it to see what the going rate is on Amazon?
No, we didn't.
And they're both unopened.
Yeah,
so.
when I saw them unopened, I just figured I'll do my research later.
Hey,
you know,
let me see if the scanning will work. Hold it up to the screen. I don't know if this is. Do the other one because it's not so much of a glare. Do the other one, Ma.
The other one, the bigger one?
Yeah, because there's not so much of a glare on that one. All right,
Gotcha.
hang on a sec. Back it up just a little bit.
Keep it this way.
Oh, technology. That is awesome.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
Yep.
Wait, how much?
Let's see. To win the buy box, that means you would have the cheapest one is $116.
Yeah, so I actually paid.
Well, 15 for both, $7.50.
All right, try the other one. I'll give that one a whirl too. Now this shows you how awesome the magic blue dots are. I can do this.
I know.
Yep, right like that.
Okay.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Boom. That one is the new buy box would be $146.
Whoa! I think we hit the mother load on those.
We hit the big one.
Yeah. Bag. Give me the bag.
So wait. Don't go no further. So somebody just said, is that the Amazon app thought you had to have a UPC. Yes, you can on the UPC, but that's the magic of the magic blue dots. It reads any product that had a UPC. So here, I could scan the barcode on this record, or I can scan just the front of it. So let's do that. Bloop. And it picked it up. See, right there. So if you can't get to the barcode, or it's covered, or it's missing, or it's in a glass display case, you can slap your phone up to the screen, up to the glass, and it'll read it. It's pretty awesome.
That is really cool. Well, thanks.
Here,
Thanks for doing my research.
That will probably not come up because it didn't have a UPC, but I'll try it. Hang on. What the hell?
It doesn't have the UPC.
Hang on.
How's that?
No, not picking it up. But I like them.
Yeah, I picked him up. He had $6 on him. I got him for $3, and they're Playboy. As you can see, they're by Playboy. They sell for good money, folks. I think I probably will get around $40 or $50 for this deck of cards.
Anything on the back?
Don't, just solid.
The original.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What did it say?
$6.
$6.
Ooh, that was expensive.
I know. Yeah, I can't. I suppose I shouldn't show the girls, but the girls are naked, of course.
No, let's see. What the hell?
And I did count the cards.
You want all 52?
Well, there would be 104, wouldn't there?
There is 104, but I'm thinking
jokers.
But I'm thinking the decks are the same.
Oh. So here's, yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all the same, aren't they?
Is there a date on them? Somebody wants to know.
Ooh, good question. Is there anything?
I'll take a look. Here
I'll take a look and see. But yeah, so these, I did do some homework on that, so those should sell pretty well.
No date.
No date.
No dates.
Somebody said those Playmates are on Social Security now.
Oh no, we got a date, 1972, right on the front. Right on the front, everybody. Can you see that?
Well,
72?
Does it say 73? Oh, no.
72, 73. How about
Oh,
that?
yeah. There you go. So I'm guessing
Yeah.
that was the Playmates from 72 and the Playmates from 73.
Yeah.
73.
yeah. So whoever said about Social Security, well, see, I fit right in there. I'm on 10 years I've been on Social Security.
And backing up one more time, it's the Amazon app. If you're an Amazon seller, get the Amazon seller app. If you're not a seller yet, you can just get the regular Amazon app. It works the exact same way. The only good thing about the seller, it shows you the ranking, and ranking shows you how fast something will probably sell.
Right.
We won't get all nerdy about that right now, but
yeah. This can you see? Oh, I've got it there.
Yep,
there we go. Okay. I looked them up. I'm hoping to get around 15 or 20 bucks, but I'm seeing that the sold ones are 5, 6, 10. So we'll see. But it was only $1, and I hated to leave it behind. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, for $1.
Yeah. Plush. This was a good one because he cost me a whole $1. It's from the Lion King. You know.
Are they connected?
Yes, and the guy alone sold for $35. The big guy, Daddy.
Mufasa?
Yeah, Mufasa. So so that was a good plush find. I thought, hey, this one I have never come across any of the mugs from any of the famous TV shows. And this, so what was it? It was $1. I got it for 50 cents, and his mugs sell for 35 to 40 bucks.
Oh yeah, they always did.
Yeah, so I'm assuming, we should be able to get somewhere in that vicinity. Then we hit an estate sale yesterday, and I'm going to whip through these really quick. The man was a hat collector, baseball hats of all kinds. And
Seagram's Cool Drinks.
and
What's it say?
This one is the Everglades National Park. Now these, let's see that
Pebble
one.
Beach.
Pebble Beach. These were brand new. I have 2 of these. These sell very well. Club Camel. These are absolutely brand new.
Detroit Pistons.
What's the tag on that Pistons one, Dad?
What's the tag?
Yeah.
It's the, it's
NBA tag.
It's the NBA tag with Price dribbling the ball.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I bought this Browns hat. This is also brand new, but we've got we got a double deal here. Yeah.
Double branded.
Yeah, double branded. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you.
Train engineer's hat.
Do you know what that VIA stands for?
Nope, I don't know what that is yet.
Now this one is the Forbidden City, but there's a bunch of pins on it as well.
There's a lot nice pins on it.
Very cool.
Yeah. And
the Forbidden City, Newberry.
Yeah.
Independence, Hawaii.
Yeah, Jason,
I
look
don't
at that.
know.
Ah, Jesus. Decline.
Who's not watching you?
Who knows?
And turn your ringer off.
I had it on vibrate, I thought. Also,
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, look what we found. Look.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, cool. Here, let me put it on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Turn your head sideways.
I know. I love this hat. And then, Jason, all the Warner Brothers stores went out of business, but, this is an old-timer.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
And we bought
a skimmer. It's from Ireland. It's got a nice tag inside.
Yeah, I got an Irish tag.
Yeah, let's see, right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bought them all for 50 cents a piece.
50 cents a piece.
That's a good price.
Yeah, isn't that a good deal? Dad went with this. It's not one of the old ones, but
it's not old enough. But,
not old enough.
But it was $1.
It was $1. It's a Tonka, but it's the newer material. So I don't know. I'm not too sure. Might give it to the grandkids to play with. And we did. Okay.
Well, it's Hasbro.
It's by Hasbro, everybody.
That's why.
This is a vintage ice bucket. This is an older one, folks.
Comex
and we paid a whole 50 cents for this.
It's got tongs too.
Yeah, and it still has the original tongs, and you don't usually see that too often.
Nice.
I know. Isn't that cool? But yeah, this is an old timer, and it's Chromex, Kromex. So it's made in the United States. So you know how that goes.
In case if it don't sell, we can always put ice in it.
Big. Before we do that, scrubs, and you know me, I'm a scrub queen. I love selling my scrubs. And we hit a booth at the Hartville Flea Market, ton of scrubs, 50 cents a piece, you
50
guys.
cents each, we got them.
You know, but bunch of different prints and colors and.
Is that seashells?
Yes, the first one I've ever seen.
Yeah, well,
We talk about seashells, and you find seashells.
Let's see, good karma out there. And another one, more fallish. By the way, those of you who sell scrubs, and y'all should look for them, fall seems to sell extremely well. Extremely well, yeah, look at the exercise bears. So this one I thought was very fallish looking, but anything fall, Thanksgiving, apparently they must not be that prevalent.
got them all 50 cents
50 cents each. Can't hate that. Oh, this one is cute for those of you. Oh, I got another one too. I think you'd like, Jason. This is Panda Bears.
Do you guys ever buy on brand, or is it always on imagery?
Imagery only.
Yeah.
Yep. And this one I love because it's more tropical and got the parrots all over it.
And I'll tell you, kids, buying scrubs, if you can buy them big, buy them big.
Yeah, the bigger the size, the better they sell. I buy 3Xs to one woman.
We bought 6. It had to be from the same gal. We bought 6 3Xs, put them all up for sale. They all sold in 2 days. All of them sold to the same person in 2 days.
Okay, I have 2 items left, I think, Jace.
All right.
This bought is a V-neck, a Browns jersey, NFL label.
Budweiser.
But it's a double branded again because I've got, on the sleeve. Wait a minute, see if I can get this open here. It's got the Bud Light beer on the sleeve.
See, if Budweiser is Bud Light, much better.
Yeah.
Budweiser is the main.
Actually, it's really nice. I might not have to part with this, depending if they win any games.
For the Cleveland Browns, Budweiser is the main sponsor.
Yeah, it's a large, and like I said, you had $3 on it. I got it for $2. And last but not least, and I don't know, I might not be parting with this, but it does sell for good money, everybody.
Wow.
Look at that Tinkerbell mirror. Isn't she adorable?
What? So what'd you pay for that?
She had $10 on it. I got her down to 8. I started at 5, but we ended up at 8.
But she gave us a bag of corks.
Yeah, she gave us a free bag of corks. You need corks every now and then when you're buying those chalkware banks and things that need a cork in the bottom.
And if you sell it, what would it sell for?
That's around a $40, $45 mirror, everybody.
Nice. All right, we're at the end of the show, so let's show Mom's scores of the week, and then I'm actually going to show you 2 things, and I'll make you laugh about one of them.
Oh, good.
All right, so here's Mom's first score. That I had to tell her that she did a little boo-boo. So I said, oh, you sold this little Jams outfit for $30. And she said, well, kind of.
Kind of.
What'd you do, Ma?
Well, when the girl contacted me, she was interested only in the blouse. And she asked me if I would split it. And I said, sure, I'd be glad to. And, for half price. And
you left it up to her.
Yeah, so I left it up to her, and she said fine, she would like to do that. So I just turned around and shipped her right off of this same what's the word I'm looking for? Off the same listing, yeah. And I shouldn't have done that. And I knew better, but I was in a hurry, and I thought she sounded okay, and because you could come back and say, hey.
Yes, so Mom used this listing to sell just the top, when in reality she should have made a quick new listing for just the top. I'm sure this customer is just fine, and I always expect the best out of my customers. I never expect the worst. But if this customer came back and said, hey, I didn't get the pants, there's nothing Mom can do, because in this picture and this listing are pants. So
correct.
Well, we do have emails that.
I know, but your listing shows 2 pieces. So all the file is not as described because, and look, I don't think this is going to happen, but just know, everybody, that.
Well, it might after today.
What'd you say, Dad?
It might after today.
After this airs.
Yeah. And then the Hard Rock did a bunch of these artist series where they did a Bon Jovi one, a U2 one, and a Springsteen one. And remember what you paid for this one?
$2.
$2. And, $19. But, boy, if you could knock off $20 T-shirts, a couple a day, because usually you can pick them up for $1, $2. That's that's some good money to your bottom line. But the big dog this week.
Woohoo!
So we'll talk about it.
This is from y'all know the movie Christmas Vacation, I'm sure. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and the Chevy Chase, and they have one scene there with the moose, mugs, and punch bowl, and
Marty.
at a garage. Yeah, we found the complete set, 12 mugs with the punch bowl.
12 mugs.
Yeah, and I put it up, as you can see, for the $3.99, and we did get an offer of $200 and yesterday, and it was a slow week, and I thought, and Dad said, "Oh, take it." Me, I was almost ready to counter, and had I waited probably closer to Christmas time, I probably would have gotten more money, but I was very happy because I only paid $50 for the entire set. So I made
and we made
a little
17
money,
more on
the shipping. So
once again, we did it FedEx Smart Post, and it didn't cost us much money. We made $17 on the shipping.
Yeah. So I by the time the smoke cleared, we made $150.
Nice. All right, cool. That is the show today. A couple quick things, and I'm gonna show you a couple things. So don't leave. Don't go nowhere yet. But this is the brand new shirt we made for the thrifting board. Welcome to the fabulous thrifting board in Las Vegas. You do not have to be coming to Vegas to get one of these awesome shirts. They're only $20. They're on Amazon. Now, I do want to put a word of warning because it's been a successful seller so far. There's many copycats. So you've got to follow a link I put up if you would like to buy one, and please do. So in the chat right now, I'm putting a link up. I think it'll go. Yep. So in the chat, there's a link. I'll put a link down below. And you can find it on my page or in the thrifting board. Nadine did the artwork for the shirt. It's a ton of fun, and we know all our advice is always free. So if you've ever learned anything, you want to buy a nice $20 shirt, please do. And then I wanted to show two things. Nadine and I are going to do a full haul in a couple of days, but I wanted to show Mom two things because I want to get Mom's reaction.
Ooh,
so I picked up this Betsyville or
Betsyville.
No, it's not Betsyville. It's a Betsy Johnson purse.
Oh, okay.
For way too cheap. Way too cheap. Are you ready, Ma?
Okay. Oh, is that fabulous?
Is that really awesome or what? It was on a window display. I walked in the store. I walked into the window display. I yanked it off and went, I'm buying this.
How much was it?
$16.
Okay. And what do you think you can turn on that one?
Well, I don't know if Stacey's letting it go. That's the problem. I didn't do any research.
She wasn't.
But see the interior, and it's in just perfect shape. I don't think it's ever been used.
Yeah, beautiful.
So
nice and clean.
That's great. And then, just this past week, I got this bag for way too cheap also.
You do have good luck with bags. Oh, Jimmy Buffett.
Ma, you ruined it.
Wait, you didn't tell me. I'm sorry.
I know. I was going to say, now who owns... Yes. Jimmy Buffett used to be part owner of Caribbean Soul, and as you can see, this is a little three-dimensional gecko here, and it's obviously missing one of these. It should be on the other handle, but also the zipper is a Caribbean Soul little like name tag thing. So this was $2.
Oh, that's a great buy.
Now, are you ready to laugh? So, Jimmy Buffett bag. I had just set it on my desk. I'm like, oh, I'll show this today. And as I set it on my desk, I heard a cha-ching.
Oh, my God, you sold it.
And no, I haven't listed this yet. But the cha-ching was a different Jimmy Buffett bag.
Karma. Good karma. Nice. Very nice.
Yes, and somebody asked, people ripped off my design. Yes, that's the way the world works. If you have a successful design, people rip it off and claim it as their own. I have... done what I have to do to tell Amazon they're rip-offs, but it takes a while to get them pulled down. So, so please only follow the links I put out. Anybody else's, you're just giving money to a rip-off artist.
Yeah, it makes you mad.
Okay, and that's why I want to end the show like that, because here's a topic we decided to talk about next week. It has to do with what's sitting behind me here. There are two types of tiki people in the world, those who like Jimmy Buffett and those who despise Jimmy Buffett, but like tiki stuff. And they don't mesh too well. And so when you find tiki or tropical or Hawaiian things, you have to know who you're marketing to, because there's going to be ways and words to market towards the Buffett crowd or the hardcore tiki crowd. And the difference really is, just to make it simple, and then we'll really get into it next week, this tiki would be sold to either crowd. This parrot would only go to the Buffett crowd. Okay?
Right.
Same with these two pictures I grabbed off my wall, because I do have a little bit of Buffett love in me. This is a Buffett sign. This would only be in a Buffett Tiki fan's house, not a real Tiki fan. This could be in either.
Right. That's a beauty.
And so I said to my mom, I said, hey, could you do a tribute show to your brother, my uncle, my godfather, because he was the hugest Buffett fan, and then it was gonna be just about my uncle. Then I'm like, oh no, we could talk the difference because I've trained all of you to look for this stuff. So now you got to know how to market it and sell it. And so I think what Mom and I are gonna do is, because we both have some love for Jimmy Buffett, Mom more so than me, I think, but we're gonna grab things from around our house and we're gonna hold them up, and we're gonna say, Buffett or Tiki fan, and we'll see how you guys do. So I think that's how we're going to do the show next week.
Yes, with my decorating in my household, I have a lot of Buffett incorporated into my Hawaiian Tiki theme, just because I've always been a huge fan, and my brother was a huge fan, so more in my house than Jason's.
Yeah, but the little bit I have hanging up were gifts from my uncle. So we're gonna, it's gonna be a good lesson in Tiki, but it's gonna be a lesson in how to market it, and that's a lot of times. Whether you're following me or any other group, you learn a lot about things to buy, but then sometimes you don't know how to sell them, especially if it's outside your comfort zone. So we're going to give you the ins and outs of how to sell it, kind of how to market it, and we'll play a fun game with it. So there you go.
Did you have a question?
You go back to this picture here of me in the tuxedo.
Yeah.
You'll see
Uncle Nino in the background.
You'll see your uncle right behind me.
Let's see here. I closed it. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Yeah, you're right. Where is it? I see the Buffanti hair. Yep. So yeah, my uncle is the reason I have a love for concerts. So oddly enough, there we go. Open this puppy up. Mom and I are now going to concerts. So there is my uncle right behind my daddy. Yep, there he is.
Oop, yep, that's him. Oh, yeah. Well, they won't see me, but yeah, in the white shirt right behind Regan.
Yep, that's my uncle right there.
He loved to dance too. He was a great dancer.
And I don't think we said it. My uncle did pass away of cancer a few years back, so that's why it's going to kind of be a tribute show to him. But how that grew all right, it will be, but we're also going to teach you. We'll teach you the difference and how to spot the difference and know who you're selling to.
Yeah, because there's definitely a different market for those.
If you show up at one of my Tiki events with this, you'll be thrown out on your ass.
No way. They don't like that at all.
No, they don't. I'll tell you right now.
Nope.
Old school Tiki collectors, and there are some old school collectors who won't even collect modern mugs. I'll definitely mix the two. But we'll talk about that next week because Mom has a collection almost as great as mine, or maybe greater in some aspects. So we can definitely pull a lot of cool stuff, and we will share that next week. So I think that's it. Thank you, Dad, for being our guest this week. Our first guest to the Selling Past Your Expiration Date show.
That's my baby.
So as of this moment, you're our best guest ever.
Oh. What'd I win?
Well, you got to be my daddy. That's what you won.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So for Selling Past Your Expiration Date, being thrifty over 50, I'm Jay.
I'm Peg.
I'm Daddy.
We're gone. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right.